Howdy everyone, Andy here from Team Completed It. Just wanted to give a big shout out to our supporters and sponsors over at My Hero UK. My Hero UK is a one-stop shop app for all your comic book needs. Buy, sell, trade, amazing service over at My Hero UK. Head on over to your app store, type in My Hero UK, download the app, and the boys will take care of the rest. If you want to check them out, go to www.myherouk.co.uk. Thanks for the support, boys, and enjoy the show. Howdy, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Completed It. I'm your host, Andy Burrows, and I am joined by one of my co-hosts today. Neil is otherwise engaged. Family matters call. So have fun, Neil, with whatever you're doing. I think it's his nephew's birthday party. So Neil is probably scoffing his face with jelly and ice cream right now. His nephew could be 27 for all I know, but hey, got to have a party with jelly and ice cream. I am joined by my illustrious co-host and oldest friend in the world, as I always keep telling everyone. Sash, how are you, bro?
Yeah, not bad, man. All good.
Jolly good, mate. Jolly good. Something that we spoke about many a times, turning comic books into games, and games into movies, and movies into how do you get everything, etc. So today we thought we would touch on video games being made into movies. Why not?
Yeah.
Something very close to your heart. For those that don't know, Sash works in the computer industry. So some of the classic games that you played over the years, well, this guy probably helped make them, build them. Jin, I don't know. I'm going to say that that's what you do. I don't really know. Sash, what do you think when you see computer games made into movies? We're at the minute, it seems to be the in thing to do. You're looking at things like Sonic the Hedgehog, Super Mario, Minecraft, etc., which we're going to get into. What makes a good movie that was previously a computer game, in your opinion?
Same with anything, just a faithful adaptation, whether that be so it be true to the roots of the character, the plot, uh, the fundamentals of any kind of adaptation without too much trying to change it from what it originally was.
Hmm. What movies kind of stand out for you? Let's go back. We went back to say Mortal Kombat. The first one come out in
Fantastic.
1995. Yeah, I mean
Fantastic.
we all grew up with that franchise. It's like I
Fantastic.
remember playing that
Fantastic
computer game.
adaptation. Yeah.
I remember playing that computer game, and I remember I can't remember. It's not like nowadays. Back in the 90s, we didn't get like something on Facebook. We didn't have Facebook and fucking Twitter and all this. You
Yeah.
just heard from the grapevine that there was a movie coming out. And you're like, of Mortal Kombat. And
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
like, and I remember watching that movie thinking, even today, we sit here in 2026, that movie holds up. That was a
Chris,
good movie.
Chris, who we had on the podcast
Hmm.
ages ago, the Dracula podcast,
Yeah.
Dracula guy. He worked on the Mortal Kombat collection that came out on PS4 and 5,
Wow.
no, PS5 recently. Yeah,
Wow. That's
yeah,
awesome.
because
And
he also works in the games
I know he's
industry.
done something for the
Yeah,
new Star Wars film as well. I think he done some like poster work for the new Star Wars film. So yeah,
well,
keep up the
he
good
does
work,
all
Chris.
bits and bobs, mate.
Yeah, he's really
Yeah,
he does great things. But yeah, what did you say when you like, obviously me and you big gamers growing up, me back in the days of the NES and the SNES and the Mega Drive, etc. When you heard Mortal Kombat's probably one of the first real movies that I remember coming from my childhood of like computer gaming. We
well, that,
had I think we had like Super Mario Bros was after it, wasn't it?
no, I think
No,
they
before,
roughly
sorry.
came about the same kind of
Yeah.
time. Mario Brothers was before. I think that was the first one. I want to say,
1993 was Super Mario
yeah,
Brothers.
I'm. There might have been other adaptations
Yeah.
beforehand.
Mortal
Because
Kombat was 95.
the thing is, me and you, we look at video games as Nintendo versus Sega because we were of that
Yeah,
ilk,
big time.
right? But what we don't think about is that Atari was before that, and it was Atari versus Intellivision. And
Mm.
most people don't know what an Intellivision is. I only say that because, that seems to be having a bit of a comeback at the moment. And I'm like, what that Intel of what? You know what
Tell
I
her
mean? Like,
who?
who? What? And Yeah, so there was a generation before, but before us, it was just in the arcades.
Hmm.
Home consoles became a thing in the 70s, like late 70s, and it was Atari. It was just Atari and Intellivision.
Mm.
And then you get to the NES and the Master System, and
Oh,
then that's
the
when it
goats,
really
the
yeah,
goats.
yeah, that's when it really took off, like in the West anyway. Obviously in England, they always talk about the big video game crash. This is a bit of an offshoot thing.
No, no, you
You
go
ever
for
hear,
it. All
you
good.
ever hear of the big video game crash
Not
of the
really.
80s? No,
No.
exactly. Do you know why? It only happened in America. They're like,
Okay.
yeah, they always talk like the worldwide video game crash. And what that was no one was buying Atari games
Mm.
kind of thing. So they thought the toy people thought, oh, no one's into video games. Then the NES came out and blew America, took America by storm in it, like with
Mm.
Mario and all of that. And look, gaming was hip again, kind of thing. In the UK, we had all kinds of stuff because we had personal computers. We had Spectrum, we had
Am-
Spectrum, we had
Amiga 500.
Amstrad, Amiga, Commodore 64. We had all of
Oh.
these things, man. So gaming never really went away in this country or in Japan. It's just in America. They thought the industry was kind of dead for about a year or so.
Mm.
Um, but like, yeah, in terms of adaptations before Super Mario Brothers, there might have been something to do with all of those old games, but we couldn't tell you. But
Mm.
realistically, for me, Mario was probably the first film I saw in the cinema where it was like that was like 93.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was good for what it was, but it wasn't the Mario we grew up with. We liked it anyway. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's
How
simple minds then. But now it's
how
so
does it
bad.
work,
It's good.
Sash? Like you might know better than me. I've always been interested in this. So say you wanted to, we'll say Super Mario, Sonic, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. How does it work when a movie studio wants to approach a gaming company and say, "Hey, look, we want to take what you've done and put it on the big screen"? Is it as easy as them sitting around a table going, right, you do, we want to negotiate this, this, and this, and this? Because nowadays you've got like things like Netflix and stuff, but back in the day it was like it was a lot
Yeah,
harder to
it's
get. How does it all work? How you probably going to know better than me. How
well,
does
it's
it
all
work? Like,
licensing. It's all licensing, and it's whatever's discussed at the time. Because usually with those kind of things, a filmmaker wouldn't go. Maybe if they were a fan, a legit
mm,
fan, a filmmaker would go get the rights. But usually it's the studios will go. Someone from the studio would go to the games company. They'd negotiate a deal with the rights to do the film. The games company generally has nothing to do with it.
mm,
Same with the comic book company when they did comic book adaptations back then. They would usually have nothing to do with the film adaptation. And then it's up to the filmmakers and the producers to, you know what I mean?
mm,
Hire someone to write a script, and that writer will see it through a lens. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
obviously
Could the
back
gamers have any say? So say like when the
no,
move when they get an
no,
early
not
adaptation, they could say,
no,
"Hang on a
not back
minute, this
then.
isn't true to what we've done."
No, not back then. I mean, back then you got to understand they saw it as a toy. They didn't see it as what video games are now,
Oh, of
you
course, yeah.
know. So it's like comic book movies. Comics had been around for 80 years, right?
Hmm.
But when we were kids, they were around for probably 60, or Marvel were around for 40. And
Yep.
you got to understand, like, no one had got it yet. And yeah, there was Superman the movie, but think of how many other superhero movies that were that were rubbish.
Hmm.
And it isn't until like post early 2000s when MCU started doing it where you got more better adaptations that were more like the source material. And yeah, you had the odd couple that were filmmaker driven, like Watchmen and stuff like that by Zack Snyder, because he liked the comic and he did
One
a
of the best
faithful
comics of all time,
yeah,
Watchmen.
had and Sin City and stuff like that. So it took how many years for people's mindset to change from because you got to understand with comics in the 80s, your dad probably read the comics but didn't really say anything because it was
Yeah,
like it wasn't the big merch thing because
that it is now. Yeah.
like your dad's granddad was probably in charge of the making the decisions of these things. Whereas now it's people our age that are in charge and they know of these things and they're like, okay, let's greenlight all of this shit. And then you've got and then also you've got like the filmmakers now or the filmmakers that grew up on this stuff. The
Hmm.
writers now are people that grew up on this stuff. So that's why we're getting better video game adaptations now. Like to be honest, the good ones have only happened in the past 10 years. You
I'd
know what I
agree.
mean?
I'd
There's
agree with
still
that.
been some shit ones, but before there used to be a stigma of, oh, it's a video game movie, it's going to be shit. And
Mm.
you got to understand, for ages, Mortal Kombat, that first Mortal Kombat, because the sequels were crap, but that first Mortal Kombat
They
was,
weren't just crap, mate. They were
yeah, yeah,
fucking awful.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But that first one was, the gold standard of
Yeah.
adaptation.
And still stands up today.
Still stands up today. Yeah, the effects are a bit ropey and whatnot, but I will watch that over the new one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Cole? Who the hell was Cole? Still, there's been three
they
Mortal
just brought this
Kombat games.
random character in that no
Dude,
one's fucking
there's
ever
like
heard of.
three Mortal Kombat games that come out since then. Like Mortal Kombat 11 was out at the time, and they were still doing DLC. You'd
Mm.
think that if you got this movie with this brand new character, they would have like had DLC and here's Cole, the star of the movie, play as him, see his story in the game. And then you had Mortal Kombat 12, I think 12, and that came out after, and there's no Cole in there. And they've actually rebooted Mortal Kombat's in the games because Mortal Kombat 1 came out a few years ago,
Hmm.
and there is no there is no Cole.
No.
So it's like, well, who the fuck is Cole in this movie, and why is he the lead character?
Yeah.
The other thing was that little bit of trivia. Mortal Kombat, believe it or not, when they were making the original game, they wanted Jean-Claude Van Damme as Johnny Cage.
Wow.
In the reboot game now, Jean-Claude Van Damme is Johnny
Johnny
Cage.
Cage. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Switch. When it comes to this movie, he's not Johnny Cage, and
Mm.
I'm a little bit disappointed in that. Not saying that Carl Urban
Could
won't
have
do
a
a good job,
surprise cameo in the new one. You never know.
maybe, but not saying Carl Urban won't do a good job. My only fear with Carl Urban is that he'll play him like the butcher,
Mm.
you know.
Hmm.
Johnny Cage is more of a fucking dopey guy, like Star Lord or like like a Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds character. You
Yeah, I
know
know
what
what
I
you mean.
mean?
Like Deadpool kind of fucking
Yeah,
character, isn't it?
well,
Yeah.
not Deadpool, but like that
That kind of,
wisecracking
yeah. Yeah.
guy.
Wisecracking. Yeah.
And he's got an ego. He's a bit of a douche. You know what I mean? Because he's a hotshot movie star, in it. A
Yeah.
bit of an airhead. So Carl Urban's a fantastic actor. I'm sure he could play the part. It's just, do you know what I mean? I'm just afraid of it being the butcher from The Boys for some reason. But
Mm.
we'll see.
Uh,
We'll see what happens.
are we in an era now? You and Neil mentioned last week when we recorded. Are we in an era now? No matter what you release, it's going to make buck. Look at what I think the biggest gaming adaptation, sorry, is Pikachu. And then you go to
Yeah,
Minecraft and things like that, and you get the kids of today. Like my daughter plays that Roblox thing. I think
yeah,
they're
Roblox.
talking about making some sort of movie around that. She was telling me
Yeah,
the other day, she said, "Dad, they're thinking about making a Roblox movie." I'm like, "Okay, I still have no fucking clue what you do. You sit there for hours with your friends, probably like
yeah.
we did. It's different when we were kids. We couldn't play online together. I had to come around
Mm.
your house to play computer with you. That you know what I mean? That's how different it is now. So are we in an era now of we'll release Minecraft, we'll release Pikachu that made buck? Are we again, like me, you and Neil mentioned last week, are we in that era now of we know fucking kids are going to come and see this? You make a
Oh yeah,
Minecraft
yeah,
and a
we are.
Pikachu
Look
movie.
at the Mario movie. Mario
Yeah.
movie made bank. You got to understand, like, okay, I got to talk about the Mario movie, but
Oh, dude, the new one I loved.
so here's the thing. There's been a debate, and you've seen the debate in our WhatsApp group.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so so here's the thing. I agree with everything the critics say about that movie.
Mm.
As a film, in terms of when you're making a film with a story and characters and stuff like that, it's absolute dog turd from that perspective.
Yeah. As a gamer.
However, as the gamer in me, and you got to understand, I was a Nintendo fanboy. All right,
Oh, I
I
remember, bro.
played every single Mario game ever made. All right, I haven't actually played 3D Worlds, but that's beside the point. But I've played most of them.
Yeah.
Galaxy 1, Galaxy 2.
Yeah. Dude,
I
it's the only
even
reason
played, I
I'm buying the
even played
original Game
Doki
Boy.
Doki.
I'm
I
buying
even
the
played.
original Game Boy in a couple of weeks just so I can
Yeah,
get the Mario game.
I still got my OG Game Boy.
Dude,
I
yeah,
had it
mine
modded.
mine busted. I know you got yours fixed. Mine
I had it
busted.
modded. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got a good friend that could probably put a backlight on
Oh,
yours.
okay. I'm going to speak to you after we
Yeah, yeah.
record then, because I'm
Speak.
getting a
Yeah,
Game
yeah.
Boy in a couple of weeks. But yeah, no, you
So,
make a good point.
but yeah. So, but the thing was, you got to understand, like Illuminations. Now, here's the thing: the first Mario movie was fantastic. I don't care.
Agreed. Agreed.
It had character
Agreed.
development.
Agreed.
It was fine. It was fantastic. But you know, the criticism these films get was like, oh, it didn't have that Pixar kind of thing. It's like, well, Pixar didn't make this. You know what I mean?
Uh,
Like Pixar always hits all, well, old Pixar used to hit
Yeah.
all the bells and whistles when it comes to pure filmmaking. So
They
you had
knew what
character
people wanted.
development. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And more importantly, there'd always be an emotional core to the film. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Something like Toy Story.
Yeah, like Toy Story, even Monsters Inc. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They have that emotional core to the story. Now, that's what makes that's one of the ingredients that makes a great movie. The thing is, yeah, the stuff the critics are looked at, you got to understand the hint was in Illuminations. Yeah.
Hmm.
Now, Illuminations just make stuff for kids, right?
Hmm.
None of those Minion films have character development,
Oh, I
have
walked
fun.
out of the last one. I took my
Yeah,
daughter to
yeah,
see it with
but
my wife. I said, I'm waiting in the car.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, totally, totally. But that's the studio that are doing the Mario movies.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So if you were going in there expecting this Pixar shit, you're not going to get that from an Illuminations movie ever.
Nah.
Now, the only reason I think it's a fair thing, here's the thing: I'm very critical of film at the best of times.
Oh, I know.
But the reason why I gave Mario a pass, but I did say in my review, I said this is like a 3 out of 5 for even basic level people. You know what I
Storyline.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and that's free. No, not out of 5, out of 10. All
Mm.
right. But if you're a Nintendo fanboy, this is like an
10
eight to a
out of
10.
fucking
You know
10
what I
out of
mean?
10
Like
for me, bro.
easily,
10
easily.
out of 10 for
And if
me.
you're a little child, if you're a kid, it's like cotton candy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like
Dude, I
cotton
went and
candy.
watched it in Norwich when I was down there visiting my
Yeah,
mum and stepdad. The kids in the cinema dressed up as Mario and Luigi.
yeah,
They didn't give a fuck about storyline.
yeah. They don't care.
They just wanted to see the people that I mean I don't know how much there was like the kids near me were probably like 7, 8 years old. Some of them in front of me and my daughter and I took my niece.
Yeah,
I don't know how much gaming they've done or how much of the movie they would have got, but I
yeah,
saw all the nods and all the winks to every single
yeah,
game I'd ever
exactly.
played, and I'm like,
So,
they've done
so
this or they've done that.
this brings me back to my other thing. You can't say that movie was not faithful to Mario
Mm. Oh, it was
because it was
100%.
super faithful. Now, this is how much of a Nintendo fanboy I am. I'm catching jokes that even the casual person wouldn't laugh at. So in Mario 2, they fight a guy called Wart. He's the big bad in Mario
Hmm.
2. Wart makes a cameo. Spoilers, but he's in
Okay.
the trailer. But
Yeah.
Wart makes a cameo in Super Mario 2. Princess Peach has to go talk to him. He's got an
Hmm.
underworld.
Yep.
Now, one of the bad guys in Mario 2 is called Ninja, and all he does is just jump up and down and wave his hands, and he's like this little black spiky thing, and
Hmm.
he's called Ninja.
Yep.
And everyone, when you read an instruction manual, you're like, why is he a ninja? He just jumps up and down. Like, what the hell? Dude, in this film, that guy's a ninja because there were tons of them, and she
He's
was
a
fighting
no,
him.
bona fide fucking ninja
Yeah,
doing
and
all
I was
sorts of
like,
moves.
and I was just like, it was such a dumb joke, but I was just like, his name's Ninja, and he's a ninja. It's
Yeah.
like, it was so stupid, but it was like, it was so funny at the same time. It's like, I see what you did there. And then the other thing is like when Wart gets beaten up by Peach, he picks up the
Hmm.
vegetable and throws it in his mouth, and
Yeah.
that's how because Wart doesn't like his vegetables, and if you play
Nope.
Super Mario Brothers 2, that's how you defeat Wart. Every time he opens his mouth, you got to
Yeah.
throw a
Chuck
veggie
a
in his
budget
mouth
him. Yep.
and that's it had little stuff like that that someone like me would be like, oh my god, they did that.
Yeah.
And sure, it's member berries, etc. But this is Mario, and it's aimed at children, and I couldn't help but be get caught up in the nostalgia
Ah,
bit.
that was made
Yeah,
for it was made for kids, but it was made for the gamers of my age,
yeah,
your age. We're me and you exactly the same age. We
yeah.
grew up to,
So,
it's made for us. It's made for like
but
they made Minecraft and
yeah,
I saw it. I didn't have a fucking clue, bro.
yeah.
I
But
didn't like the
that's the
movie.
thing.
I never played the game. My daughter wanted to see it. I'm
Yeah.
like, I have no fucking clue what's going on here now. But I looked that movie made absolute
Oh yeah, it
bank.
made a billion.
It
It made
made
a
a bit
billion.
because
Yeah,
purely because I suppose that Minecraft is what it's their version
yeah.
of what me and you grew up with Mario and Sonic and Zelda and God knows what else, etc.
Well,
etc.
Sonic, I gotta bring a whole thing if we're talking about a generation thing,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, yeah,
So I used to work, okay, my background is video games and what's it? I currently work for a company called Antstream Arcade. We deal with retro games and we're a streaming service. So I get to check out all the old games from the past, basically. And I work with a lot of people that worked on these games and have worked in the industry for many, many years and stuff. I downplay myself a lot, really, but realistically, I've been working in the games industry since 2005.
yeah.
On and off, though, not consistently. There was an
Yeah,
eight
but
year
you've known your game since the
yeah,
fucking day I met you in bloody baby
but there
school.
was
You've
an
always been in,
there was an 8 year hiatus with me where I went to try and get a real job, and then I ended up back in gaming anyway. So, long story. But
he stepped
the short,
outside his house,
yeah,
realized he didn't like it, and went,
yeah,
fuck this, I'm working
went
from home.
back. But the real, yeah, back to my point was I worked at Sega between 2005 and 2010. And during that time, I worked on a lot of Sonic games. Now, you got to understand my mindset. I'm a guy of the 90s, 80s and 90s. So my Sonic was 16-bit Sonic.
Oh,
I
dude.
liked, I liked, I liked Sonic Adventure, but I just felt Sonic in 3D just didn't work and I hated it. And the first Sonic game I worked on ever, ever, ever was Sonic the Hedgehog on the Xbox 360. The the
You
one where
can
he
you can get that
fucking
on Game Pass now.
he kisses a human in it. He makes out
Yeah.
with a princess. Yeah. I thought that game was terrible, and I worked there. Okay, I can say what I
Mm.
like now, Sega. Okay, just saying that. Just
Don't
saying
come
that.
at him. Yeah.
It was terrible. And then I worked on loads of terrible Sonic games, like when he becomes a werehog. And so I
Ah,
remember
dude.
when I saw that for the first time. I was like, what are they doing? But you know what? Despite my thoughts, years and years later, I would be back at Sega in 2017 to 2019. And some of my colleagues, they were in their 20s and they grew up on the games that I worked on.
Yeah.
So when the conversation about Sonic would come up, they loved those games.
Mm.
That was what they grew up with.
Yeah.
And they didn't care that he turned into a werewolf. And
It's all
Sonic
they've
has a
ever
lore.
it's kind of all they've ever
Yeah,
known, and it's like we mentioned
yeah,
last week when there's people of a generation now that
yeah,
we mentioned Superman, Star Wars, Batman. They've grown up with Robert Pattinson. They've grown up with
yeah,
Ray. They've grown up with Ray as the main character in
yeah,
Star Wars. I tell them about Luke and Leia. They're like, what? They're like, if you're, I don't know. My daughter's 13 now, and she's not massively into it. But I say to her about Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, yada yada. She just looks at me and like, Dad, no. What about the ones on Disney? I'm like, fuck the ones on Disney. This is Star Wars, right?
yeah,
And I appreciate the ones on Disney Plus now, but we're of a generation now
yeah,
where
yeah,
we're there now with gaming.
yeah.
That's
Oh
where we
yeah,
are
yeah.
with gaming. Me, again,
So,
we say this all the time. Me, you, and Neil, we're the old men of the generation
oh
now.
yeah, no,
We're the Sonics,
100%.
we're the Marios, we're the
Yeah,
Zelda, we're the Golden Axe. We're
yeah.
that
You're
generation
with that
where,
generation.
you
But
know,
but this is the thing with when I was working there, it was like really, oh, okay. And then rather than be like, no, it's shit, it's like, well, why did you like it? And then, they'd say why they like it. And then you kind of see it from a different perspective almost. It's easier to do that with games from me working on them. You got to understand, people that made those games did not think, how do we screw this up? There's someone up there that generally thought they were making a great game.
yeah, no one
And I've
goes out with an intention to make a bad game,
yeah,
but
no, no, no
you
one
know,
does. There are probably some things where marketing gets involved and
mm,
you know what I mean? They fuck shit up, but
yeah,
their job is to sell a product. So
yeah.
it's
Um,
like yeah,
Getting back to the movie, what did you think? So when we're talking Sega, let's talk Sonic the Hedgehog. 'Cause when they first done the Sonic character going into a movie, they
okay.
had
I
to
got I
they
got
had
I
they had to fucking scrap it. I remember seeing the first
so I got
adaptations
to tell
and
you a
the
story. I've got an
dude,
actual inside story.
oh dude,
Okay,
I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, that's not fucking Sonic the Hedgehog. And
so
then lo and behold, they scrapped it and we got what we got.
so Sega Europe were in charge. So the way Sega works is like every couple of years one entity of Sega is in charge of everything for a bit. So Sega Japan will be in charge for a bit, then it will rotate to Sega America, then it will rotate to
Right.
Sega Europe. So when the movie deal happened, happened under Sega Europe.
Hmm.
So they did that. They made this deal. The CEO made the deal, and Japan were unaware of it. And then what happened was they did how he looked, ugly Sonic, as Chippendale would say.
Not even
Um,
fucking Sonic. It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
Sonic had just
But
been
but
bought off Timu.
so here's the thing: that movie was going ahead. No one internally at Sega knew that was a thing, except for maybe the higher
Yeah.
ups. Okay, and when they showed that trailer and the poster, and you got to understand, the poster was unveiled next to the fucking building,
Yeah.
next to the building. I'd come in at work and I'm seeing this Sonic,
Like, what the fuck?
and I'm like, what? And then it was the talk of the town. Now, here's the thing: because of Brexit, okay, I got to bring Brexit into this. There was
Brexit
a
on the
thing.
Completed It podcast. There's a
Yeah, yeah,
plan.
there was a thing. So basically, there was a tax thing with Japanese companies where they'd come to England and they'd set up shop here. Unfortunately, because of that thing under EU law had been removed, Japan couldn't have like a lot something to do with that. It was like a tax thing.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
couldn't utilize that. So they moved like Sega still exists in the UK,
Hmm.
but the QA department fluctuates because you'll have X amount of employees on what if there's loads of projects, you'll have like 400 people on one project or two projects, three projects, and then they might have one project the next quarter. So they reduce the numbers of workers. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
because that department would fluctuate and you had hundreds of people working there, um, because it would fluctuate, they decided to move QA to Bulgaria. So the whole of QA, which had a whole floor to itself of workers, they they were going to get binned in a year and a half. Okay, they were going to get binned in a year and a half. So people were demotivated, etc. And the Sonic movie comes out, everyone's trashing it, and they've got wanted posters with ugly Sonic in the like someone would make wanted posters. No word of a lie, they would do
Ah,
that,
shit.
and it'll be all over the gaff. And then what would happen is, what happened was, I think the higher ups did not like that because obviously you're promoting your company and, you shouldn't be doing that.
Of
And,
course.
you've signed stuff and whatnot. That's fair enough. So they were like, so they turned round to the QA manager at the time and they were like, hey, get your guys to stop doing that. And he turned around and he stuck up for us and he said, you've come down and nuked the fact that they'll never work here in a year and a half.
Mhm.
How else are they going to feel like that? It's not
Yeah.
like they're
What? How do you want them to feel? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like just let it slide, just let it slide. So they let it slide, and but here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is the one time where the fandom spoke and it changed. But I also think Sega Japan did not like it as well.
Mm.
So clearly, once Japan don't like it, then everything has to change. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So they changed it. But you know what? Because of that change, what they did with that first movie, because if you played Sonic, it's nothing like a Sonic fucking game, all the ones we grew up with. But what they did though was they added the Chaos Emeralds. They put Easter
Mm.
eggs in there. They added the term badnik. They added all of this lore in there that
Yeah.
wasn't necessarily in there before. But you know what makes that movie? Jim Carrey.
Ah, dude. Yeah. I mean,
Jim
I know they're
Carrey.
they're
uh,
planning on making more. I'm
yeah,
praying that it's well. Obviously, I won't give
Jim
away the ending
Carrey,
for you, but
Jim Carrey, what was great about Jim Carrey was we hadn't seen that Jim Carrey in a very long time.
no. Yeah, I
So
agree.
to see him as Robotnik was refreshing to see the Ace Ventura type
Hmm.
back.
Yeah.
I honestly think it was a case of them listening to the fans and them, you know what I mean? Them listening to the criticism and them hiring Jim Carrey to just do his thing and
Hmm.
do it uncuffed. And that's what made Sonic. And then when you got to Sonic 2, man, they leaned into the lore hard. They were like, okay, we're going to stick to the games. And they went, you
Sonic
had
2
fucking,
was I preferred Sonic 2 to the
oh
first
man,
one.
it was so good. You had, obviously, you had the Chaos Emeralds, you
Hmm.
had You had Knuckles, you had Mecha Sonic at the end. It was like, oh my God, from
Teasing with
Sonic
Tails.
2. Yeah. Oh
Teasing with
man,
Tails at
dude.
the end, which is we know obviously Tails has got his spin-off coming up.
Yeah.
I think is it out this year? I think it's out this year. I think Tails' spin-off
I don't know
end
when
of
the
this
Tails
year,
thing
beginning
is,
of
but
next. Yeah, so that's coming up. But yeah, I mean, mate, honestly, so you got Sonic, you got Mario. Um, what me and you were going backwards before we started recording. What makes a bad adaptation? I mean, I loved the Hitman movies, and you told me that Burroughs they're fucking goddamn awful. They're nothing like the game.
yeah.
How do you get that fine line between make a movie but have a nod and a wink to the game? Don't just make a fucking movie just for being a movie, and don't use the game's name, because if it's nothing like the game, except I mean, I like the movie for what it was. I played
Yeah.
the game. I quite enjoyed playing the game. I've got them both on my Xbox
Yeah.
360 now. You can buy all these fucking add-ons, which pisses me off. You've got to spend a fortune. But you're of the opinion of they made say Hitman, or and it was nothing like the fucking game.
It
How
wasn't.
close do you need a movie to be like the game? Because like you just
Well,
said,
he needs to
Sonic,
act
the
like the
first Sonic
character.
wasn't like the game because you
Yeah.
physically couldn't do him just running in a straight line, going around in a
Okay,
circle,
so
blah blah blah.
Sonic. Okay, here's the thing with Sonic. Sonic wasn't exactly like the game, but then they leaned into the lore.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? They leaned into the lore, and then they took the story beats and stuff, and
and
it
ran with it.
worked. It worked. But they had all this added stuff with the human characters and stuff,
Hmm.
which we had
It
to put
helps.
up with. But do you know what I mean? But they lent into it. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? But more importantly, Sonic was Sonic, Robotnik was Robotnik, Tails was Tails, Knuckles was Knuckles. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They got the characters right. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? If we had ugly Sonic, no, it wouldn't have worked. It would never have worked. So, um, you know, it's about getting the characters right from the start. Hitman, none of those actors portrayed Hitman as Hitman. Hitman's like a real assassin. He's cold. He doesn't have a romantic love interest. He doesn't feel emotion.
Wasn't that just Hollywood being Hollywood though?
That was Hollywood being Hollywood, but that's the problem. You got to understand, like, there are films that come out where they will do that because they're not funded by Hollywood. You know what I mean? They'll give you a movie and
Hmm.
it'll feel like a movie. So if you were to do a Hitman movie, you could make that on less than 100 million. You could make that on 50 million.
Mm.
Just get one big star as the lead, have spray up your budget, and just make a good assassin movie because
Assassin stealthy type movie.
there are plenty great assassin movies that don't hold the Hitman name. It's just that you know what I mean.
Mm.
And they didn't even have Diana, his handler, giving him missions and shit.
Mm.
And that's a big thing. And the other thing I didn't like about them was okay, they had nods to the game. They had nods to the games where you're like, oh, that's from the game. But there's doing a nod from the game and then there's making it part of the story. You know what I mean? And that's the difference. They didn't do that. And they just made a typical 200 million Hollywood big spectacle.
And they made
That
two, and they made a few of them,
and that yeah, they made two, but the reason why they made
and they're
two is
making another
because
one.
well, yeah, because the other two didn't work, but it's IP, isn't it?
Hmm.
People still buy the game. The game still makes
The
money.
game's still doing
Still
like you
makes
look. It's
money.
one of the most downloaded on the Game Pass on Xbox.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's mad. And those same guys are now doing the Bond game
Yeah.
that's coming out in a couple of months. So
Mm.
it's like they've
I'm praying that's good. I prefer the Bond games to the movies.
well the Bond games are
GoldenEye's like one of my favorite.
GoldenEye is one of the greatest games ever made.
That's free on the Game Pass for anyone who wants it. If you've got an
Yeah.
Xbox, jump on it. It's free.
Um,
It's the goat of computer games.
but yeah, no, where was I going with this? But yeah, Hitman wasn't for me. But then I'll give you, you know what, one of the greatest adaptations? Castlevania. Castlevania on Netflix came out just before Sonic, the best adaptation ever.
Okay.
That, in my honest opinion.
Never seen it.
Castlevania, not Nocturnal, which is the follow-up series,
Hmm.
but the original Castlevania series that lasts like 5 seasons.
Let me add it to my thing while I'm.
Yeah, yeah. Fan fucking tastic.
Okay. Give me this.
Fantastic.
Give me a rough overall. What's it about?
Oh, it's about Dracula coming back.
Okay. I've never watched it in
Yeah,
my life.
yeah, yeah.
Castle.
It's about Dracula coming back. You play Simon. No, what's it? In the game, you play
Oh, so
Simon
this
Belmont.
it's animated, right?
Yeah, it's animated. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Well, you
Yeah,
can't.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Don't show your kids it. It's very R-rated.
Oh, 4 seasons. Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
four
I'll check.
seasons.
Oh, 25 minutes per episode. Okay,
Yeah,
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 that I can do.
yeah. Check it out,
Um,
man. It's good.
okay, cool. Yeah, no, I will. Let's talk about the upcoming Street Fighter movie. I know Neil's going to be gutted that he's missing this one. Um, the first trailer got put in our WhatsApp group. I was like, don't look bad. I watched the second trailer a couple of weeks ago now. Um, I don't know. I'm going to go into it with an open mind. That's all I'm going to
Same,
say.
same, same. I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence because again, they're showing fans stuff that they're doing cool stuff with the marketing. Um, I'm not sold on all of the cast
Cody
myself
Rhodes and Roman
personally.
after WWE in there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But then, they might sell it to me in the film. You know,
Mm,
I feel that, the last trailer had the focus on Ryu and Ken,
hmm
which is where it should be, which is where it should be in my book. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see where it goes. I'm I'm intrigued, but I'm not expecting much. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
But
I don't mind movies like that. When I go in with an open mind, because some movies I've gone in thinking, I fucking can't. I watched that one battle after another the other day, and I've been super excited to watch that. I never got around to sit in the cinema. I fucking sat down on my sofa the other day. I was like, I'm watching this movie. It's won an awards. I can't wait.
yeah,
Well, I was like, bruh, I don't know why it's won so many awards. Yeah.
I was a good
Andreas
film.
in the group chat was like, well, he had to watch it twice. And it was my thing is, I went in with these huge expectations,
Oh, okay.
and I was like, eh.
I'll tell you who smashed it in that film acting wise. Sean Penn.
Yeah, he was brilliant. I like the way he
Sean
walked
Penn. Well,
in.
he won. I think he won the Oscar or he was nominated.
Yeah.
But well deserved. I felt Leo was fine, but he wasn't doing anything spectacular in it.
No, Leo is Leo. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But
Leo was
yeah,
Leo.
again,
Yeah, yeah.
that's one of the things that just flipping it around quickly, movies that have been turned into computer games. Last year, you look at something like Indiana Jones.
Oh man,
Um,
that was fantastic.
yeah, I mean
Indiana
that
Jones, The
was
Great Circle.
it's split opinion though. I mean, it was all right game. I found myself bored. I wasn't really doing much.
Well, it's one of those puzzle solver kind of games.
Yeah,
You
it's
know what
more
I
like the
mean?
original like Monkey Island.
Yeah. So if
And
you,
I loved Monkey Island games.
well, they're
I don't know what they've
different.
fucking done to it now because it's fucking goddamn awful, the latest one, and I didn't really
No,
like it.
it's
I
no.
downloaded
I
it.
like. You know what? I'll say this. I like the last Monkey Island. It was great.
Eh,
People didn't like the outcome of the story. I think it's always been there, and like Ron Gilbert, the guy that created Monkey Island, he left the company after Monkey Island 2. All the other ones kind of carried on, but they didn't carry on off of what his original number three was. He gave us his version of number three, and everyone hated it. But
mm,
when you look at, without spoiling the ending of it, without spoiling the ending, all the hints were there in number two and even number one.
mm.
And to show that that's what it always was. It's just that we never picked up on it for like 40 years because
Yeah, I
we
think
want,
Monkey Island's very
yeah.
much of our generation. If you didn't grow up with it, I don't think it's not going to be like a Super
Oh, I'm talking about the
Mario.
people that grew up with it. A lot
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
people,
yeah.
like,
The
it,
people
it didn't, it
nowadays,
didn't, didn't
like
meet the
I was playing
expectation.
it. I was playing it a couple of weeks ago on my Xbox. My daughter's like, Dad, what the hell is this?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, it's Monkey Island. She went, you're weird. I just walked off and went upstairs and played. Yeah, it's just like one thing that got announced last week was they're making a Call of Duty movie. How do you
Yeah,
think? How are you looking forward to that? How do you think? I'm looking for. I think put things in like the
I
gulag and
am
oh, he's
actually.
going to
I
be
am
yeah.
actually. I'm looking forward because it's.
2028 it comes out.
I'm looking forward to it because it's Tyler Sheridan that's writing it, and I love
Hmm
Tyler Sheridan. He's one of the best Hollywood writers that there are.
hmm
I love Yellowstone. I
Oh,
love. Yeah, he did Yellowstone. He did.
done 1882.
Yeah, he did that, but he did Tulsa King. He
Oh,
did.
I haven't finished Tulsa King yet. I need to
Yeah,
finish that.
yeah. Me neither. Me neither.
Oh,
Need
I
to get
love
back on that.
mate. Yeah, I've got a 9 hour flight. I might have to
Yeah, yeah.
get on there.
Watch some Stallone doing this thing.
Yeah, man.
But
Yeah, I
yeah,
like
he's done a
Stallone
lot
in
of
that
good
stuff.
stuff. He's done a lot of good stuff, and I do like his work. So he's writing the Call of Duty movie, and it's been announced that Peter Berg is directing. So that intrigues me. So we'll see how it goes. See what the
You're
cast.
gonna hate me for this. I want a Fortnite movie.
I don't hate you for that. I've just never played it.
Dude, I love that fucking game. Me and my daughter play it all the time. I'm like, please make it. That would
Yeah,
make that's up there with Minecraft. That would make
yeah.
buck.
For me, it's like, Fortnite's very much a family game. Like, you'll find a lot of
Yeah, me and my daughter
guys
play all the
play it
time.
with their sons and their daughters. Like my
Yeah.
mate Simon will play it with his
Yeah,
son.
my daughter sits on her Switch. I'm on the Xbox because it's dual, and she's like, "Come on,
Yeah,
Dad, can
yeah,
we just fucking sit there and we play for hours on end?" It's just
yeah.
so.
That's
My
right.
wife's like, "What are you two doing?" We're like, "We're playing Fortnite." She's like, she just looks at me with that look. She's saying, "You still play games?" She can't get the fact that I still play computer games at the age of 46. I'm like, "Hey, look, at least I'm not down the pub every night. Like, some blokes go down the pub every night and you never see them, and I'm just sitting in the front room playing my Xbox." So,
Yeah.
that's that. That's what I am. Just finishing up, Sash. Is there any games that you would like to see made into movies?
Look, most anticipated film that I want, well, not that I want to see it. It's because I'm a big Zelda fan, and there's a
Hmm.
Zelda movie coming out. Okay, I'm so hyped, but I'm scared they're gonna fuck it up. But I'm
Are
gonna
you
talk
scared
about
it's going to
Zelda.
be like a modern take on a classic game, or are you
Well, it
scared
looks
that
like,
they'll just
you know what?
Hollywood will Hollywood it?
Quick pimp to Ken, quick pimp out to Ken.
Shout out to Ken.
Um, so we did a
Check out the Creative
we did a
Control podcast.
what if on, what if they did a Zelda movie or something like that on the Creative Control podcast. Check out the episode. I don't know
Check
about
out the
that
Creative
one, but
Control
check out
podcast.
Creative
And
Control.
wrestling is awesome. There you go.
And basically we talked about what we wanted, and obviously some people saying, "Oh, Hollywood star should be Link and Zelda," and I said, if you're going to do it properly, you get an unknown child, two unknown children. Okay, you don't get Anya Taylor-Joy as Zelda. Okay, I know a lot of people might want that, but that's the obvious choice. But I was like, if you're doing it properly and the way my moto wants it, you get two kids. You get a young unknown child for Link, a young unknown child for Zelda.
Hmm.
Guess what? I got what I wanted. I got
Mm.
what I wanted. They got an unknown child for Link, an unknown child for Zelda. The big thing is they need a name to sell it for people that aren't into Zelda or don't really know what
Yeah,
it is.
just your casual movie going kind
Yeah,
of.
so and that has to be the villain. And I'm just wondering who the A-lister is that plays Ganon, who is the big bad of Zelda.
I've never played Zelda.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of like who's gonna play it? Who's the person? So I don't know. Are they gonna CGI Ganon? Are they gonna be normal? Are they gonna be, you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
is it gonna be a voice?
Yeah.
Is it gonna be a there's so many ways or things it could be or go. So the A-lister thing would be open. Put it this way, if someone was still alive, if Robin Williams was still alive, I would be like, you need to cast him as something in that film because his daughter is named
Could
Zelda.
you go for someone like a Jim Carrey? Talking along
No,
that Robin Williams kind of line, that kind. I'm
oh
just
no, no,
thinking.
no.
I'm just thinking
The
off the
only
top of my
reason,
head.
okay, so in pop culture, so Robin Williams named his daughter Zelda
Zelda after.
because after the game,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
when his wife was pregnant, she would play Zelda all the time.
I love it.
They would like, okay, we should name the kid Zelda, and then because he mentioned that in like some
Wonder if that's.
interview,
I wonder if that's why Ken's called Ken.
yeah. So he mentioned he mentioned that he so Robin Williams mentioned that in an interview, and Nintendo's marketing team caught on it.
Yep.
So every time there was a Zelda game in the 2000s, it would be Robin Williams playing with his daughter,
Yep.
The Legend of Zelda kind of thing. So Nintendo fans love Robin Williams, and they're like, "Oh man, if only he was alive, he'd be in there." But yeah, unfortunately, R.I.P. dude. He was
Yep.
he was one of the
R.I.P.
greats.
One of the
Probably
goats,
one
my
of
man. Just
yeah.
last one from me. Did you know? I'm in a few Facebook groups that always talk about this. Did you know that we got Back to the Future 4,
When it doesn't exist.
the game? When they made the
Oh yeah,
game,
yeah, the game. Yeah, yeah.
when
That's
they made the
different.
game,
Yeah, yeah.
everyone was like, and it's.
It's a
I'm in
good
a few
game.
Back to the Future groups. They're like, this is Back to the Future 4. And like the people that are involved
Yeah,
in Back to the Future are like, yeah, kind of. We never
yeah.
wanted to make another movie, so we gave you the game. If you haven't played the Back to the Future
Well, the
game,
writer of the movies wrote
is
the
the
game.
road game.
Bob
Yeah,
Gale. Yeah,
I saw an interview with him on YouTube, and he was like, I never wanted to make Back to the Future 4, but I gave everyone the game, and if you play the game, it is pretty much Back to the Future 4 because it
Yeah,
follows on. I won't give too much away because people might want to go and play it. But yeah, I think you can download it for free on Xbox or PlayStation.
yeah, it's
But yeah, for me, that was I like that when they do that. You know, you could do that with a lot more. You can say, look, I don't want to make you another movie, but I'll give you a game. Or they do it all the time now with animated stuff. We mentioned all the times the Star Wars animated stuff. They're like, okay, we're not going to make a live action of the entire Clone Wars. We'll give you animated version. We'll give
yeah.
you Rebels, etc., etc. So yeah, no, really good. Sash, absolutely loved the last hour, my friend. Been really good doing this kind of show. Let's do a game episode, which is pure games one day. I love talking about computer games and old computer games. I remember going around my friend Dave Wild. Shout out to Dave. We used to play the old Football Manager on the Amiga 500. Dude, I fucking kid you not. There must have been about 15 discs to play this game. And me and my man were there. We're like, you play like two
What
games in the
these
season, and
kids
then
don't
you,
know about swapping
dude,
discs.
these kids don't know how easy they got it now. I remember going to Blockbuster Videos to hire a Mega Drive. I couldn't afford
Yeah,
one
yeah,
at the time. My dad took me down the one in Harrow. I had to go down the one in Harrow, hire the Mega Drive or the NES. I had to hire it there and play the kids. You don't know black. So when I tell my daughter now, she's like, "Can we download this?" And blah, 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 it's like X amount of money. I'm like, I physically had to walk to Blockbusters,
yeah,
hire a Mega Drive for the weekend. It cost my dad like 50 pounds deposit, or whatever it was. Hire Sonic the Hedgehogs, just like, and then eventually when I slowly got I grew into my teens. My mum and dad, I remember them buying me the Mega Drive for Christmas, and I remember opening it like, oh my god, it's just like now everything's just like, Dad, can we download this? Dad, can we download that? Kids, they don't know how fucking lucky they are. Anyone who wants to check out our content, just jump onto YouTube, type in Completed It Podcast. The logo behind me there will come up. Just hit like, subscribe, all that good jazz. Everything we do is on YouTube, is where you can find us. You can also interact with us if you want on Twitter, X, whatever you call it, at Completed It Pod is where you can find us. But Sash will be back next week. I think we've got some movie reviews dropping soon. The Michael Jackson movie will be art that will be coming out really soon. I'm really interested to see what they do with that. And then we've got like, yeah, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, all that's coming up. So we're gonna watch them, sit down, review. I can't wait for Neil to watch the Street Fighter movie. I'm worried for that boy because I know how much that man, he's got Street Fighter tattooed on his arm. I'm like, please, just for Neil, please be good. I'm hoping it's going to be good. I'm going in with an open mind. But we'll be back later in the week with more Completed It. But thanks for tuning in, everyone. Till next time, stay safe.